What's going on, guys? It's Alex again, bringing you another video. Today we are playing the Avengers, but kind of not really. So basically, I recorded some gameplay just to play in the background, and really just explain what happened with the series, because we kind of left off on episode 7 after we got Iron Man back on the squad. So here's I threw some gameplay of Iron Man just for the time being. But really, I tried to record the rest of the series, but OBS messed up for me. I couldn't redo the recording because there's no way to replay the campaign at the moment. So right now, I kind of was really discouraged and just finished the story just like that, even after I fixed it, because we got pretty deep into the story with really big spoilers. I mean, I got really discouraged again, like I said, and we just kind of just played the story on our own and not really worrying about recording or anything like that. So I thought I'd just hop on today right now just to explain what happened. That's why the series didn't really finish technically. But on the good news too, the series will not finish at the same time. I'll explain a little bit more of that later. But for the moment, the main campaign of like 9.5 hours story time is finished. I finished that a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to just explain what happens in the story right now for all of you guys who were just waiting to see what was going on. Without further ado, I'm going to throw some last minute spoiler warnings up on the screen right here, just so you can click off the video and come back to a later date so that you can hear my thoughts and analysis of the game and what I think should be done later in the game, because this is a live game and they're continually going to update this game with new characters and new story missions, so that's pretty good. But without further ado, we're going to get started. Right now, where we left off was with Iron Man joined the squad after Kamala and Bruce convinced him to look into what happened with Captain America back on A-Day. After that, Kamala and Hulk actually found the anthill after Tony asked them to look for parts to try to get the Chimera working again so that they could put it in the air and stuff like that. And who other than Ant-Man was in the anthill? But the only problem is Ant-Man can't go small anymore because they captured him. AIM captured him, and they experimented on him, causing him to, I guess, kill himself if he were to ever go small again. That's what Hank Pym said when we were in the anthill. After that, Kamala kind of goes rogue for a sec because she tries to break into an AIM base all on her own, just because she found some guy who says his sister and mom was trapped there. I mean, that was just kind of a disaster move by Kamala. Like, why would you do that? Put everybody in danger because now they had to come get you. After that, we did finally find out who Tiny Dancer was, and it was actually Black Widow out of all people. Apparently, she was undercover for like 2 years gathering information on AIM and stuff like that, and that proved to be literally priceless information, as we actually were able to break into the base and stuff like that with Black Widow all on our own. And it was actually really fun. It was a really fun mission of stealth and stuff like that. Black Widow fights her way through, and she has to actually fight Monica, who's inside of a giant robot, which is a pretty awesome mission. And then Black Widow captures Monica after saving Kamala, and brings them both back to the Chimera, where actually Bruce interrogates her to find out where they were keeping the super advanced robots called that AIM was calling the Adaptoids. After a little back and forth, Monica said that they would never find them. But after the interrogation, AIM actually attacks the Chimera and gets Monica back while bringing down the ship at the same time. And out of nowhere, Thor comes through and saves the ship from crashing into New York City. Apparently, he was just around doing a homeless shelter thing. I don't know, volunteering over there. After the ship is saved, Jarvis shows the rest of the footage from A-Day, showing that Captain America did actually tell Tarleton to shut the door. And that's when it kind of goes downhill for the Avengers, because after that, they get mad at themselves, thinking that A-Day was their fault. Things get heated. Bruce actually goes Hulk inside the Chimera and starts fighting Tony off camera. For some reason they left that off camera. That would have been so epic if they let us play as that. And Thor leaves out of frustration, saying that nothing's changed, and Black Widow goes her own way. I don't know where Black Widow went, but she went somewhere. So Kamala's kind of left on her own in sadness, just to review the interrogation video, just to see if she can find any kind of clues to where the base where they're keeping the Adaptoids, just so that they can prevent future disasters. disasters. And she actually finds out that, or puts together, that the Adaptoids are not on Earth, but they're in a satellite in space. And Kamala gives a heartfelt speech through their comms device on the ears. You know how like in the movies in the MCU, they always have things in their ears. I guess they have the same thing in the game. But basically, Tony comes back after the speech and thinks that Kamala was right and that they should be together as a team. So he actually works on a new version of his Iron Man suit, which is capable of space flight, and that was a pretty cool suit, not gonna lie to you. When he goes to the space satellite, Tony actually finds Captain America inside the satellite, frozen, so that Monica can use his blood for the Adaptoids and on Tarleton. That was a pretty big plot twist. So Captain America was still alive, but just wasn't like cryo sleep or whatever. Monica was just harvesting his blood so that she could use his blood on Tarleton and her Adaptoid experiments and stuff like that. After Monica finds out that they were in the spaceship, she tries to blow it up, and she does, sending Tony and Captain America hurtling through space on like an escape pod with no kind of fuel or anything. And Thor comes to rescue them in space. Tarleton does find out that Captain America's blood was being used on him because of Monica's slip up, and he gets really mad because he doesn't want any kind of superhumans left on Earth, which is really crazy. And he doesn't want any superheroes, nothing at all, even himself. So he actually injects Monica with Captain America's blood with the intention of killing her, because that could have killed him, and she seemingly dies right then and there after that happens. After that cutscene, all the Avengers are reassembled again, and they have to stop Taskmaster from hijacking the Chimera again, because he was trying to steal the Terrigen crystal, which makes Tarleton come after them. That's when he gives his speech about he wants to kill all superheroes, even himself, so that everybody in the world is normal. And then he doesn't want to be called Tarleton anymore. He goes by the name of MODOK, because he goes absolutely bonkers, bro. But he actually activates the thing in the water in the beginning of the game, and it turns out to be this is where it gets even crazier. It turns out to be a Kree sentry, like an alien race kind of Kree stuff, like in the Marvel comics. I don't really know much about it because I've only seen the MCU movies, and that's my knowledge of it. So that's pretty cool. It was a really crazy mission. One by one, all the Avengers are like kind of like separated again, fighting their own battles. Kamala has to go up one-on-one against Kree Sentry after it was destroying Hulk, and she actually goes giant, like literally giant, the size of the Kree Sentry, bigger than the Golden Gate Bridge kind of giant. She actually is able to defeat Tarleton or MODOK or whatever, and the Kree Sentry, because he was inside the Kree Sentry controlling it. And so it was pretty crazy. The story kind of wraps up with her coming home and her dad, Abu, accepting her as a superhero and accepting her powers, and lets her stay in the Avengers, which is really sweet. But even after that, there's two post-credit scenes actually. The first one, it shows that Monica is actually still alive, and she has cloning abilities now. And the craziest thing is, the scene ends off with them showing Monica's two eyes the same color, which is a very subtle callback to earlier in the game where they said everything was perfect about another Inhuman who was able of cloning, except colored eyes were always going to be different. But it seems like Monica perfected the cloning powers that she has, so that's going to be added onto the story later on into the game. And also, the second cutscene is showing the wreckage of the Kree Sentry in the water actually shooting up a green beam into space, like a rescue pod or something like that, or a beacon, so that, like, I don't know what's happening there, because they give no kind of context, but maybe the Kree are actually going to come to Earth, making Captain America a future playable character, which will be insane. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much what happens with the game, and it was actually pretty crazy. It was a really fun game, really fun experience. So my final thoughts on the game, honestly, I really had fun playing it. I thought it was a really cool experience playing as the Avengers, because there was no other game like this on the market. Spider-Man was the only Marvel superhero game that we had that was actually really good. But this game, guys, was really fun. I know there a lot of people are like kind of iffy about it, but if you guys just play it by yourself, you have a wonderful time. I mean, like, bro, look at what I'm doing right now. I'm just like destroying people with Iron Man, just floating, just like shooting my laser beams at him. And it's a really fun game, guys. It's a really fun game. I think it'd be actually better if you had friends to play with, so that you could go to the story together. I wish I had a friend who played it, but I forgot that this game was in crossplay, so we couldn't play together at the same time. But we both individually had our own good experiences with the game, fun experiences with the game. I'd give this game, as it is right now, a 6 out of 10. Because I do want more story. I wish there was more story, because it was a pretty short campaign in all reality. But it was nice for what they offered, and later I realized and researched that they're actually going to continue the story throughout years, like by adding new content, new heroes. So basically, I know there's a new hero coming out. Kate Bishop's going to be the new hero. That was supposed to be coming out in October, but she was pushed back because they wanted to fix the game and try to make it improved. And that's, in my opinion, a very, very, very good call on their part. They went from releasing her in October to sometime later in the year, and that's supposed to add on to the story that already happened. And that's what they're going to keep doing with their new characters that they add on. And right now, we have 3 confirmed, which is Kate Bishop, number 1, Clint Barton, which is also Hawkeye, number 2, and then right after that is supposed to be Black Panther. All this is going to lead to more story, and like, it's supposed to be building up to something, at least in my opinion. It has to be building up to something. I mean, maybe it's going to be a Kree Wars at one point. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, they can really take this game in so many directions with all the characters that they want to offer. I know that the developers have said it themselves, that they want the game to continue, and they want live updates for years to come. So it has to be building up to something. Maybe we could get Thanos in this game. Whatever direction they choose to go, I'm really excited for. I'm waiting for it. I can't wait to see what they're going to do, honestly. And in my opinion, guys, I would highly recommend playing the game. Maybe you don't have to buy it at $60, because I understand it's a steep price for a lot of people. But if you have the game and it goes on sale, honestly, I highly recommend it, because it's going to be a really fun game for years to come. And it's going to be cross-generation. So you could just buy it on PS4 or Xbox One right now and play it later. So it's going to be a really fun game for years to come. And I'm really, like I said, I can't stop saying how excited I am for it. But anyways, guys, that wraps up the video. I just thought I'd let you know what happened with the Avengers series, because it was really disappointing to me how OBS didn't record properly my video. So it was all messed up, and I didn't realize, because I don't have a second monitor. So it's all good. We're going to continue to play the game. I know I'm going to continue the story whenever the new characters drop, and that's just going to be really fun. So this is going to be a series for years to come, and maybe I'll throw in some videos with just playing side missions just for fun, just to keep you up on the action, just in case like I got nothing to do, or like if a new character drops and we finish the campaign really quickly or something like that. So keep an eye out for that, and thank you guys so much for watching and bearing with me. And I'm sorry again about not being able to record everything, but hope you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe for more. Comment down below which characters you would like to see added into the game. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys later, and